Well, Santa is gearing up for his big night of delivering toys, and there are some very fun apps to help you keep track of the trip. So here with the best ones, we've got TV host and tech expert Amber Mack joining us. A little bit warmer where you are. Great to have you here, Amber.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because Santa and the elves have had to keep up with the change of the toys and the requests, but also there's a change in technology of us knowing how to keep track of him.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 5 different apps and web services that will really help families. The one I wanted to start with is Reroute Santa, because we are down here in Florida right now. So we're not at our home in Toronto. So I had to go onto this web app and let it know exactly where my son Connor would be on Christmas morning. And so it will send Santa a letter.
Okay, so he's asking, he's like, Mom, double check that Santa knows where we are so they can see that. It's called Reroute Santa?
Absolutely. So he's asking just to make sure that Santa knows exactly where he is on Christmas morning. And I know there are lots of other kids out there who maybe aren't in their homes on Christmas morning, and they're a little bit concerned that Santa won't know where to drop off all the presents. So this will really help.
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the next one, and that's the NORAD Santa.
Yeah, NORAD Santa. NORAD, of course, has been around for a very long time, and since 1955, they've helped us track Santa. I'm originally from Prince Edward Island, and in rural PEI, I used to listen to NORAD track Santa on the radio, but today you can do it all through an app.
Okay, and it's interesting because these apps are actually, ones you're talking about are free, you know, that people have access to being able to download these.
Yeah, absolutely. So NORAD's app is completely free to download, and it's really fun to be able to sit around with the kids on Christmas Eve and to track Santa all around the world. And as I'm sure you can imagine, these apps have gotten so much more sophisticated. So not only can you track Santa, but there are also games and activities that you can play as well.
I know, I'm looking at these graphics right now. It's amazing to see what they've been able to do. Okay, let's talk about the Google Santa Tracker.
Yeah, so the Google Santa Tracker is relatively new, but you can imagine that being from Google that there are so many cool technical capabilities within this app. So you can track Santa, but there are also little games that teach kids how to code. There are many different activities as well. So really, I think they're giving NORAD a run for its money in some ways, but this is also a fun one. It's available for Android devices. And again, just like NORAD, it's completely free.
How important do you think it was for them to bring in that kind of that game aspect that you know, that the kids can interact with these apps more so than just kind of tracking where Santa's at?
I think it was pretty important for Google. So the way that they set up their app, it's almost like a digital advent calendar. So every single day there's a new game or activity that you can essentially unlock. And so they've made it fun. They've made the countdown to Santa traveling all around the world really a 24-day countdown.
Perfect. Okay, so on Android, we were talking about Google Tracker, but Google also has Google Assistant. What's that one about?
This is just a fun little one. So let's say, for example, that you have the new Pixel phone. There's something on the phone called Google Assistant. This is the voice-activated assistant. People may not know, but you can actually use that assistant to ask Google where Santa is, and Google will tell you on Christmas Eve. It will also tell you holiday jokes, believe it or not, and it's all through voice activation.
Okay, one other thing I want to talk about, of course, we put so much pressure on Santa, but really at the forefront is, are the reindeers. So what is up with the reindeer cam?
Okay, this is so much fun. It's the only one that's paid, but it's worth it. It's $1.99. And if your kids are getting anxious about Christmas and about Christmas Eve, then today you could go on to the reindeer cam and you can see Santa feeding his reindeer. This is Santa in real life feeding real reindeer because he's preparing for that big journey around the world. And of course, they need to be well fed so they have lots of energy.
You know what? These are fantastic and crazy to see the growth and how many are actually now popping up. Amber, I'm so glad that you routed Santa to where you are in Florida. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amber. All right, and once again, we had Reroute Santa, the NORAD Santa, Google Santa Tracker. If you have the Android, you have the Google Assistant, and of course, the Reindeer Cam. So lots of great new apps available, interactive on the phone.